So I've got this email here from someone insecure about my back. Hey Lewis, I love your shit. In last week's episode, you talked about how to be more confident. One of your main pieces of advice was to have good posture. I can't do this as I have Scheuermann's disease. What the fuck is that? Scheuermann's disease. Let's Google that. Are you sure, man? What the fuck is Scheuermann's disease? Oh, it's like just fucks you back, like scoliosis or whatever. I have Scheuermann's disease, which is where your spine doesn't grow straight and it's more of an S shape. Okay. This means I have a hunch and I'm always slouching. This has had a serious effect on my self-confidence and has made me very insecure. Any advice would be great on what other things I can do to help with my confidence. Have a shit one, Josh. Yeah, so obviously, look, I'm not disabled, but I do have a weird body, right? I'm not disabled, there's nothing wrong with me, but I definitely have a strange body type, right? So I suppose I have the opposite problem to you. I guess this makes you shorter. I'm too tall. So basically, look, self-confidence comes from a few different areas. There is no one answer. So I said last episode, things like standing up straight, things like making eye contact, holding your head up, all that stuff helps, but it doesn't give you confidence. It just adds to your self-confidence. There are so many different ways to do it. The main way to be more self-confident is I think I've thought about this a lot, and I think the best way to get some confidence is to be good at something. And not like be the top 1%, but just to be good at something. You know, whether that's fucking being really smart or being a really good reader, having an interest and knowing about that a lot can really, really add to your self-confidence. If you're, like, even games and shit, if you're really fucking good at a game you like to play, that can add to a lot of confidence because you become more of who you are, right? And also things like just talking to people all the time. Practice makes perfect. You can practice and learn self-confidence. I really believe that because I wasn't always the most confident person. I was always a very reserved, shy person. I mean, you guys know me. Like, I'm not a very outgoing person, you know, like it's like I like this where it's just me, nobody else. And it's just talking. I don't particularly like big group scenarios. I like one-on-one shit, but I've never been the most outgoing person that wants to talk to people. But I started off as, I'm able to do that now, but I learned how to do it, basically. Because I started off as a very in-person, a very like in my shell. I remember in primary school, this teacher was always trying to get me to come out of my shell because he saw it was in there and he was trying to get me to come out of it. I never really wanted to do it, but I basically, not doing that became more and more of a problem as I grew up and as I went into high school. And what I learned was just fucking sucking it up and trying to talk to people. Because a great thing about trying to talk to people, if you're not very good at it, is that if you fuck it up, you learn something. And I think for your confidence, a really good thing to learn and a really hard thing to learn at the same time is no one gives a fuck about you as much as you do, right? Some people care about you. Your parents, they give a fuck heaps. Really close friends, they give a fuck. Really close partners, they give a fuck. But ultimately, anyone outside that tiny, less than 5 people, right? Really, if you think about it, like I only have like 2 really, really close friends, right? I have lots of friends, but like real, like brothers, real close people, 2, maybe 3 that are real close, like a reciprocal relationship, you know what I mean? Then I have my parents, my 2 parents, and then my grandparents, and it's kind of it. My brother, I suppose, about 5, definitely less than 10 people who truly, truly care about you in a way that you also care about you, right? And even then, it's not as much, right? No one will ever care about you as much as you do. It's a hard thing, but it's also a very liberating thing to realize. And what I would say to you, Josh, is no one gives a fuck about your back. Like outside of that real close, no one gives a fuck, bro. So people will see you and you might feel really insecure. You might feel, oh, what do people fucking think about this? I promise you, bro, you're nothing more than a passing thought of, the guy's, anyway, I've got other problems. My fucking mum has cancer or whatever. You know what I mean? Like your back is an issue for you. Outside of that, I mean, I don't give a fuck about it. If I saw you at my show, I'd be like, the guy's got a hunch. I don't give a fuck about that. I'll forget about you. And that's what everyone else in your life will also think. And that's a hard thing to accept. Because, no one cares about me. It's easy. You can go one or two ways of that. You can either go, no one cares. Oh, fuck, I'm sad. No one gives a fuck about me. And that ultimately is coming from a selfish place of you feel like people should care about you. And the answer to that is, why should they? They got a job. They got bills. They got kids. They got a partner. What are you bringing to them that they should give a fuck about you? It's a little bit different if it's like, your mum. Of course, if your mum doesn't give a fuck about you, of course that's going to break your heart. But if it's like just people in general, I used to get like this. In high school, I had a lot of like friendly acquaintances. I didn't have many friends. And this always used to get to me. I'll be like, no one fuck cares about me. And it used to really, really get me down. And then one day something in my brain just clicked of like, hang on, why should they give a fuck about me? I don't do anything for them. What do I bring to the table? I fucking sit in a classroom and I don't talk to anyone, and then I go, no one wants to talk to me. Why the fuck would they? What value am I bringing to them? They look at me and they go, he doesn't want to talk to me. I'll respect his wishes. Why the fuck would they give a fuck about me? You got to be proactive with this shit. So something that's very liberating and very difficult to accept is no one gives a fuck about you. And one way, there's two ways you can go about it. One way, which is the way that I went for a while, which was, life sucks. No one cares about me. This is sad. This sucks. They should. And that's coming from a place of selfishness. The other way, the healthier way you can look at this is no one gives a fuck about you. Guess what? You know how liberating that shit is? No one cares about your back. No one cares about how fucking tall I am. People will look at me. I got the same thing as you, bro. People will look at me and go, oh, fuck, that guy's tall. Maybe a little child will go, wow, look how big he is. That's what people think. They just learn to not yell that out, right? But ultimately, they don't give a fuck about me. And if they got to know me, I'm not that freak anymore. I'm Lewis, right? So what you need to get to is you just need to get past that first impression. That's all it is. It's just a first impression. It's just, that guy's got a bit of a hunch. But if they find out how, cool you are, or how good you are at this game or this sport or this whatever the fuck you're into, you can start building a relationship with that person. So ultimately, bro, you are obviously insecure about your back, and I probably would be if I was in the same situation, and you care about this, but I'll be real with you, bro. I don't give a fuck. You're an email to me. If I saw you in person, you'd be the guy that I pass on the street and I go, oh, look at that guy. And then I wouldn't give a fuck about it ever. And if I met you and I started to get to know you, sure, the first thing I see is that, but then I'm going to forget about it if we get along. Obviously, not everyone's going to get along with you, but even if they don't get along with you, you're going to be that guy that kind of pissed them off because they said the wrong thing, not because of your back, So ultimately, no one other than you and the 5 people that really care about you give a fuck about your hunch. Knowing that is so liberating that you can go, no one gives a fuck. I can do whatever I want. I can just go on and just live my life and I will find those people. That's what really liberated me. My mindset went from, no one cares about me to, no one cares about me. I can do whatever I want. Because ultimately, any consequence of my decision, as long as, they are decisions that don't hurt other people, it's only going to negatively affect me, really. Or it will positively benefit me. So, who cares? I'll do whatever the fuck I want, People have problems. There's people with skin diseases. People are short. My brother's got eczema. I'm a fucking tall freak. You get over it. No one cares. At the end of the day, no one other than the 5 people care. And then even then, those 5 people, they can't do anything about it. So they will just forget about it and it won't affect your relationship with other people. So my advice to you, mate, is I don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Why should you? Go out and live your life, bro.